But I got to tell you, there's one thing that you, Cameron, Matt, and James all have in common, and that is the proportion of your physiques and just the flow. There's got to be something in the water down there, Lisa. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just something being on that end of the equatorial hemisphere or something. But there's just something about the balance and flow that all of your physiques have. So that's going to tie me into my next question. And we're going to start back with actually, we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order because I already talking to you. What is your training like? Like what are you guys doing for training? Are you utilizing a 5 day week system, three, four, just a little bit about your training system idea overall. So I'm gonna start with you, Scott.
Yep. So throughout prep, I was doing 6 days a week. That was basically two lower body days, one focused more on hamstrings, one focused more on quads. Um, and then twice a week, I was doing back and shoulders, and the other 2 days, chest and arms, and then one full rest day.
Now, is that your
You
off
can't.
season and on season, or do you cycle down the volume in the off season?
Uh, yeah, so I normally do like 5 days a week during the off
100%. I think
season.
the level
I
of,
don't
some people
really go
might look at
below
places like
five
the
days,
US,
but because I just
in
like
the
being in the
UK,
gyms
and
too
in
much to
Europe,
have
and
more than
although,
two
I
days
think
off a
they are
week.
very, very competitive. I
Yeah,
think
5
Australia,
days,
some of
and
our top
currently
athletes
that's
could stand
like
toe to toe with a lot of these guys, and
um,
I think that's only going to
so
improve.
the same split of chest and arms, back and shoulders, legs twice a week, and then I've just got a chest and back day currently at the moment as well.
What about you, Matt? What's your training system?
So previously in preps, I'd done 6 days a week with probably anywhere from 5 to 7 days worth of cardio. But this prep, or what we learned from previous preps is that recovery is kind of key with my body. Otherwise, I just start breaking down and training performance and stuff. Just goes out the window, and joints and muscles and everything start to ache, and just makes prep more miserable, or it's just not enjoyable. So this time, what we did was I'd already done probably like an 8 week block of this training split before I started prep, but I was running a push day on Monday, which would have a little bit of arms in there, just because arms are probably my weaker point because my shoulders dominate. They sort of eat my arms, so it makes my arms disappear. But yeah, so like a chest and arms day, and then I'd do a quad focus day. I'd have a rest day, and then I would do a pull day, which had a little bit of arms in it, then an arms and shoulder day, and a finally finishing off the week on Saturday with a hamstring focused leg session. So 5 days a week, two rest days. That just seemed to work best for my body, give it the best amount of time to recover possible. Whereas previously I have done 6 days, but yeah, I get towards the end of prep, my body just starts breaking down. And I normally roll like that same sort of, essentially the same sort of breakdown in off season. Thankfully, my coach, he programs it all out. He's a bit of a psycho, especially when it comes to leg days, but
Hmm.
it's obviously working, if that makes sense. So yeah, normally a 5 day split, normally like a push pull leg sort of split. And I enjoy that more as well. When I first started training, I did the whole bro split thing, one muscle group per day, but
Yeah,
I definitely much prefer like a push pull legs sort of split, if that makes sense.
totally. And also, you also have the added recovery drain of being in the military. I'm sure it's just like the U.S. military. If it's a PT day, it's a PT day. It doesn't matter that
Yeah,
you went to the gym. We're running today. We're running today. We're doing this today. We're doing this today. And you have to add that in. And of course,
yeah,
it impacts your training volume.
yeah, yeah. Trying to schedule like fit everything in around your day. Even like trying to fit cardio in and stuff, just that just means a longer day, but you get it done, you know what I mean? Everyone's in the same boat. I'm sure everyone else has got like a normal job that they work, like you just find ways to fit it in, right?
Yeah, but most jobs don't make you do PT in the morning in a group or do runs or all that other stuff. But all fun stuff. Hey,
Exactly.
James, you're next, buddy. What's your training system looking like?
Um, Yeah, so I'm a little bit unorthodox when it comes to my training. I've never really had a coach um, ever. I've actually no, this season I took on Tim Stewart, one of the English boys who's very yeah, very prestigious coach. But he more did my nutrition and peaking and everything. But yeah, I kind of go off yeah, how I'm feeling a lot more than your structured yeah, your structured plans where you have everything set out. I'm more um free balling it. Um so most preps I'll do 5, 6 days a week. Um but again, it's more so what I can fit through my work. So I work
celebrate,
Did I
our
lose all
physique,
you guys or
celebrate a
just
great
James?
show. And I think, the way to end it is just like this.
No, he
That,
lost.
you know,
He's frozen.
I think the
Yeah.
big message
Oh,
of
there he's
natural
back.
bodybuilding
In your
is that,
seat, I'm a
the
little bit
camaraderie. And I think, these
lax
gentlemen have all
with
been
it.
super respectful of each other today. A lot of handshakes, a lot of
James, you
congratulations
cut out
around
for
each other.
1 second.
And, I think it's a
so I'm
great way
gonna
to end
cut,
off
I'm
it.
gonna
Oh,
edit
and
this part
James,
out, but you cut
lifting
out
the
for
shorts
1
up a little bit,
second
trying to
right
give
when we
the
started
classic guy some
talking about
smoke.
you just had wrapped up talking about your nutrition coach and you were just getting into how you train and then you froze for a second. So if you could pick up with how you train. Yeah.
At WMBF, and he definitely has the lower body to boot.
That's it. And I think, he's breaking the stereotype that men's physique guys don't train legs.
nice thing about
I don't know where this
recording,
came from
I can,
because,
edit some of
for
this
me
out.
personally, I'm training legs after this. And, to
Yeah,
hear
you
it
did.
that men's physique guys don't train legs,
Are you back?
it's fuel, but it also breaks my heart at the
Yes.
same time.
It's
Yeah,
one of those old
we got
wide
everything you
manuals.
said
It's
right up
very
to your coach, to your
disappointing
nutrition
here.
coach, right when you were starting how you train. That's when we lost you. If you just cover your training, that would be good. I can edit all, then I can edit all this in.
That's it. I did pay him to say that, ladies and gentlemen. But,
Yeah,
train
so
your
I-
legs, men's
I
physique
use
guys, because they are
my own
judged.
training, and I'm more
How
so
good just to see all
running
the
off,
boys getting up there. Look, we got Cam hitting some of the bodybuilding
embedded
poses
within,
as well.
what
Would have
we
been
have
lovely
as
to
well.
see him up against Scott, but as we mentioned, no crossovers in the OCB, which I think I like that, all else being equal. It allows us to differentiate those physiques a little bit more, but it does make you wonder. It's one of those Marvel what-if scenarios.
And again, I think with the boys showing off their physiques now, we can see, that the quality is so good across our 3 individual overall winners today. And
Are you
even look
back?
at James there hitting that front pose, fantastic. Cam hitting those classic physique poses,
Okay,
and then
alright.
you can see Scott there,
I
just
do.
an
I can
absolute muscle.
splice all that in and edit it in, so we're not going to lose anything. It'll look better when it gets posted online. So, and we'll get back to James, and I'll edit all that in so that it looks flowing. Cameron, what about you? Tell us a little bit about how you're training. What are your favorite splits?
Yeah, so similar to these other boys, so I did a 9-month prep and pretty much ran 6 days a week, the whole way through. And now in the off season, I'm doing more of a 3-on, 1 off. But yeah, typically I like to do probably lower volume, so around 2 sets per exercise. And this prep I really prioritized just heavy training, and then just maintaining or increasing strength throughout the entire prep. So I didn't really lose any strength at all, and that was probably the best my physique looked, just because I was able to maintain that intensity and just keep recovery very high. But yeah, typically I'll do 2 back days. I'll do a quad focus day, a hamstring focus day, a chest day, and then an arms day. Not in that order, but I like to spread my volume across the week, but sets are, relatively on the lower side. But yeah, for me, I just love training, love just, putting in as much effort as I can, but really focusing on all those 1%ers that make up recovery. that was the best part about this season, from nutrition to sleep. I realized how important all those other facets are, and my body definitely responded favorably to that.
And that is the one thing that I learned when getting ready for a competition. It's the little one percenters that can add up. You'll always hear that, yeah, if you do this, it's only gonna make a 1 or 2% difference. Okay. Um, Ones and 2% can add up to a 10% variable. So yeah, paying attention to the details is good. One thing I did notice about the majority of you guys is that you do have a little bit of instinct into how and when you're training your muscles. And that is something that I think that a lot of the American audience can, you know, hopefully learn from, because I talk to so many bodybuilders and so many trainers that are, we have to train X number of times per day, no matter how you feel. We have to train on this block, it's this day, it's that day. Where I notice, you guys will turn around and go, I need to emphasize a little more work here, a little less work here. I'm going to go a little bit more instinctive. And if that's a trend down in Australia, I think that's something that a lot of our trainers up here in America can take a good take back on and become a little bit more instinctive on how they are training and pay attention to the little 1% and 2%. So thanks for sharing that with us. Lisa, I have a question for you before we get into our final question and wrap up for the day. I keep hearing season A and season B. If you'd like to explain to our audience what it is, because as you know, in America, particularly with the OCB, we have bodybuilding 12 months a year. There is no off season. So explain a little bit about this season A, season B down there.
We actually have a season C now.
Oh, all right.
So up until I guess this year, yeah, we had season A, so which is usually between April, end of May, majority of shows, and then what used to be season B would be like start of September to end of October. So that would be pretty much the majority of shows would only be run in those two periods. This year, they've introduced, some federations have introduced winter shows, so in the middle of the year in July, so season B. I will say, so yeah, OCB kind of last year stepped out of, like, I wasn't in a season last year. I do our OCB in August, so it was outside of our traditional Australian seasons, and the reason I did that was because there's only so many weekends within that season period. I didn't want to be stepping on anyone else's toes or, having to work out days and things like that. So I just, and also Yorton Cup's always in September. So I wanted to have a date that was always going to work in with Yorton Cup. So anyone who did great at our August show and earned pro wouldn't have much time between our show and then going on to Yorton. So, but yeah, that's what we mean when we're talking about A. A is like early year, B is now middle year, and C's that September to end of October period of time.
And it's not dissimilar to where I started competing. I'm going to show my age here, especially to all the young folks on there. My first show was back in '83. And back in the '80s, your bodybuilding season, really, you might have a March show, and then it was April, May, June, and then there was nothing July, August, and then maybe September they'd start back up, and then November was, September through November was the big, with all the big shows were in November. And it was kind of like the same way. And now it's just gotten to the point where, well, like I said, our season starts in January and it ends in December, so we only have 2 weeks off here. So I see you're breaking that mold in Australia, and before you know it, you'll have bodybuilding 12 months out of the year down there too.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see. Obviously,
That
our
was
population's a little bit less, but yeah, but it's good to see. I think it's nice that people have a little bit more option to compete when suits their lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not stuck.
Exactly.
Um,
That
Exactly.
was
yeah, so I think that's it. It's good in that way.
that was one of the big drivers for me, like being in America, the opportunity to be able to compete like at any time during the year when I wanted to, if that makes sense. And it made it so easy to line up like multiple shows in America because,
Yes.
like Sully was saying, like if I'd known, not that I would have known that I was going to go pro, but I could have easily organized to do, like 3, 4 OCB shows in a row if I really wanted to, and they they could have been all located really close to me as well because OCB might have like what 5 shows any weekend, like potentially if that makes sense.
We
And then I
have
could have lined up like a pro show the following weekend, and it's so easy over here compared to like back home.
we have up to 7 shows a weekend across the country. So
Yeah.
yeah, I long for the days when we only had like 25 shows and like one every other weekend. With success comes a lot more work hours, but I tell you, it's a labor of love, just like it is for all of you guys. You guys love your craft and you're really into it. I mean, I could sit here and I can hang out and chat with you guys for hours, but we do have to wrap it up. And I did have one final question for all of you. We're going to go round robin. I'm going to start back with you, Cameron. We're going to go back in alphabetical order. Just one little fun fact about yourself that nobody would know with you being a bodybuilder. Just something interesting about Cameron.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of travel, but one of the greatest experiences I had was when I was in year 6 of school. My parents took myself and my 3 siblings around America. So we spent a whole year traveling in a motorhome. We visited about 31 states and did homeschool that year. And I have still have so many great memories of that experience, and I've still got lots of contacts over in the States. So I'm really looking forward to heading back over there and competing.
That is wicked cool, especially for somebody who has a camper van who likes to travel around the country too. But what was your favorite thing that you saw?
Oh, I probably it would have probably been Yellowstone National
Yeah,
Park. Just the variety. But yeah, I love being outdoors, and yeah, America just has such great landscapes that people don't realize. Just got a little bit of everything. So yeah, the national parks for sure.
yeah. I can say the same thing about your country. I've had the honor and the pleasure of being there multiple times. The military saw it in their infinite wisdom to park me down in Sydney. I've been to Perth. I've been to Fremantle. Haven't been to Brisbane yet, but I'll be there next year, hanging out with Lisa and Team Australia in August. Again, you guys have an amazing landscape, and people do not realize the vastness of your little island until you're there. Because I remember being in Sydney and I met some friends down there and they were like, hey, let's fly to Fremantle. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, what's that? Like an hour flight, hop, skip, and a jump? Yeah, no. It is not an hour flight from one end of the coast to the other. People do not realize the massiveness of how big Australia is. So can't wait to get back down there and tool around some more. Maybe we'll rent a camper van, Cameron. You can show me the sights in Australia.
Yeah. There's plenty of coastline to visit. So
Yep.
um,
And I
but,
do
but
gotta
yes,
I gotta get back on that Great Barrier Reef too. So
yeah, lots of great spots.
hey James, you're up next. What is a fun fact about you that nobody knows?
Um, I can't really hide the fact that I grew up in England because I've still got the accent slightly. So that one's quite an obvious one. Um, yeah, so I started my career. I dropped out of school, started my career as a chef, and actually I was a head chef at 18. I got nominated for a Young Chef of the Year award at 19. and then started working for a Michelin star and triple rosette restaurant at the same age. Which, yeah, then retired as a chef at 20.
Wow.
That's something not a lot of people know.
Um, so when I'm down there, we're gonna hook up, and I'll buy I'll buy the vittles, and you can whip me up something, because man, that's it's again a parallel, James. That was something that I had a calling for as a young age. I always thought I wanted to be a chef, and then I ended up spiraling out into different things, and now my meals generally consist of a nuked chicken breast and a half a sweet potato and some broccoli. But yeah. Now,
Just sad reality.
have you utilized your skill set you developed as a chef with your bodybuilding preps to come up with some interesting recipes?
Honestly, no. That's more my best mate's calling. So Zach, Lisa knows Zach very well. He's the photographer. But yeah. So I go up and stay with him. He does all the high protein recipe stuff. And whenever I come up for a show, he always cooks for me. I'm yet to cook for him, so I think we're gonna have to, swap roles next time.
All right.
But I make a mean chicken breast.
Yeah, the bodybuilding staple.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hey, Matt, what about yourself, brother? What's something new and unique about you that nobody knows?
I'll give you sort of two. Fun fact is I'm actually an instructor at work, and I use this fun fact thing as an icebreaker whenever we get a new course in. So I'm well prepared to answer the question. My favorite fun fact about me is that naturally growing up in the country, I didn't really have not access to, but I didn't go flying. We just drove everywhere. So I joined the military when I was 18. I'd never been on a plane. I joined the Air Force, never been on a plane. Went through recruits, still never been on a plane because they trained me and bussed me everywhere to get to my recruiting station. And then I'm an avionics technician by trade, so essentially that means anything electrical on planes is my jam. Learnt for 18 months everything about planes, how they fly, how radars work, how radios work, how gyros work, all this stuff. Still never been on a plane. Started swinging spanners on planes and fixing them. Still never been on a plane, actually in flight. My first operational deployment was to Malaysia in 2015. And my first flight was on a AP3C Orion, which is like a 4-propeller plane. Real old school, like 60s technology. I was strapped into the floor. So they have like overwing escape doors on the wings, and there's a station, what they call like a station at the door, that is literally a seatbelt into like a cupboard. And I sat on the floor, and that was my first ever time flying, my first time overseas, everything. And I'm pretty sure I'd like worked on that plane as well, like fixed some stuff. So yeah, all in one, like joined the Air Force with no like plane experience whatsoever, and now I love it.
I like that. That is interesting. Yeah, one of these days when we're offline, we'll have a chat, and I'll tell you about my journey into the Air Force, because I started
Yeah, that'd
off
be
a
great.
U.S. Marine, and then I was in the Army, and then the last branch of this, I never ever thought I would end up in the Air Force, and it turned out to be my absolute, my passion, my love.
Yeah.
I loved it. So it's funny how these things happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, you're next. A little fun fact about yourself before we close.
Yeah, fun fact about myself, I'm 31 years old and I've never been overseas. I only just got a passport this
character
year
side too.
and
Yeah, no,
have yet to
absolutely.
use
I
it.
want to be
So,
like Scott when I
yeah,
grow up, Emmanuel.
Me too.
All right, Scott, I'm plotting and
40 years
planning
of that.
now. I'm plotting and planning for you now. I think that your first trip to America has to be next year, coming to the Jordan Cup with Lisa to compete. So I'm just saying,
That sounds good.
just saying.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, we're expecting a big team next year, actually.
That's incredible. I know that you guys are you're going to be bringing some people this year. I know next year. I mean, I briefly mentioned her, a mutual friend that I met on deployment, Angela, who is an incredible competitor in her own right. I believe is she an OCB pro now as well?
Yes, she's
Yep.
OCB Pro. And yeah, so she is planning for 2026 as well. Bonnie will hopefully be back. Another bikini pro from this year is next year as well. And I've got a couple of people who, if they don't earn pro in Australia, are going to come and do a few amateur shows with us. So yeah, we're doing a big tour in 2026 if anyone wants to join us.
Uh, Matt will be there. I'll be jumping in wherever you guys are. I'll try to plot my because I'm at an OCB show every weekend, so I'll try to plot my my goings around to at least cross paths with you and your team at least once. Hey, listen, we're gonna wrap it up now. Like I said, I could talk to you all for hours. This is great stuff. I'm glad that our American audience is now seeing what fantastic champions you have, and this is only part one. We'll be coming back with part two very, very shortly, where we're going to be talking about the ladies down under. So, got some great champions coming on for that one as well. In closing, I just want to say thank you again. Appreciate you all. Thank you for staying natural, and thank you for trying OCB. And Lisa, biggest thank you to you for putting your team together and for putting OCB on the map in Australia as our first show. I see nothing but growing success for you as you go into your second show, and slowly, build I don't know, a OCB Australian empire down there. I hope maybe one day we can even have a pro show down there as we develop the talent.
That's the plan.
I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hey, thank you all for joining us, and I will see y'all soon.